want to talk about surfing. I love surfing. I'm a Tennessee boy who grew up in the South. I grew up going to the ocean in Maryland with my grandparents. They had a place up there. I would go, and that's where I fell in love with the ocean. And I don't know, just had this love for the sand, the sea, the shore, the whole thing. But I was never, around it enough to like really be like, an avid beach goer or a surfer, this or that. But I was like obsessed, I would look at magazines of like dudes with like bleach blonde hair, tan skin with like the perfect teal barrel going over their heads, and it's just like, dude, that is what I want. I used to get made fun of in high school a little bit, like by some of the baseball players. They'd be like, "Yo, Jocelyn, dude, how's the surf, bro?" And my brother, he would go a lot. My middle brother, or often he'd go on surf trips. He was pretty good. He was good at snowboarding, good at surfing, that sort of thing. I would go with him sometimes, and I would just like eat it. But by the time I moved to LA, I ended up right off the beach, like by this miraculous set of circumstances. And so I was like, well, this is my time. I will learn how to surf. So I would just go out every day. And I had a 6-foot fish, which is like not a beginner's board, not ideal for learning, but my brother shaped it with his friend, and so we had it, and it's like, that's what I learned on it. So for like 6 months, I'd just go out and I would just eat it. Just get tossed around and just failed miserably, but maybe enough to like, I'd catch something every now and then to keep me going. But, at some point, we would go down a couple different spots. One of my bucket list things was like, I grew up listening to the Beach Boys, so I wanted to surf all the spots in Surfing USA, right? There's all these spots listed, so it's like, I want to hit some of these spots in Surfing USA. Like, I can't think of them right now, but like, they're, Redondo or Porto or God, I can't think of them right now, but listen to the song. There's all these surf spots listed, and I surfed most of them in my time in California. But we used to go to this spot called El Porto in Manhattan Beach. It's a good surf spot. In LA, South Bay area, you have swells that come in the summer and swells that come in the winter. And certain spots get hit during the summer, and certain spots get hit in the winter. So in the winter time, you go to like Manhattan Beach. So we would go up there, and I remember that was like the first time I dropped in on like a 3 to 4 foot wave, which doesn't sound like much, but when you're in the water, that's like a decent sized wave. And I caught it, and it was glassy, and it was just like dropped in, and it was just like, I got it, I did it. And then we went down another time to another spot, Trestles, down south. It's a big surf spot. I think they have the Hurley Pro down there. And it was a big day. We're down there with a bunch of friends, and it was like 4 to 6 feet, maybe more, big waves. Fairly big waves. And I caught another one. It's like I caught like the biggest wave of my life, And I was just so stoked, so like, yes, like I have achieved the goal of a Southern boy who wants to go surf waves. And so, I was out in LA for 8 years. I surfed a lot of waves. But like when I lived in Venice Beach, that's when I wrote my album, Found at Sea. And out in the waters of where I wrote most of these songs, or at least began to write these songs, or let the ideas permeate. Not permeate. I would just sit out there and I'd just be waiting on waves. There was a spot, there's like a main spot, it was like the jetty where like all the, you know, the main surfer dudes in Venice went, which like, you know, there's a lot of localism, which like, you didn't really mess with the guys who like, that's their spot. I'd rather find a spot where I could find my own, even if the waves weren't as good. So I found this spot, it's just me by myself. And I just go out there, I had a bike, I'd put my bike on my surf rack and I would go ride and I just surf and I would sit there and these songs would come to me, titles would come to me, melodies would come to me, and I just sit there in the water and just kind of repeat them and marinate on them. And then I go inside and I would just write. And it's like by the time I got inside, pick up the guitar, it was just like, boom, you know, I already knew kind of what to do. And you know, surfing is one of my favorite things in life. There's very few things in life like that, which like, you know, you're just out in nature, in the water, riding a thing that's like moved by the moon, like the gravitational pull of the moon, the water, I mean the waves, the tide, the wind. There's all these factors. Just like there's very few things which like to me felt like most at home in the world, and that's where I experienced like most of my most peaceful memories. I remember there's a few times where it was like, you know, the sun would set and then like the water would turn orangish, purple, yellow, whatever, as if that wasn't enough. Then there was like these dolphins that would swim. You know, it's like, and then you catch a wave and you're gliding down this like surface on this board. It's like nothing better. So that's my thoughts on surfing.